It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose Show, and thanks for joining us. On today's show, we're going to share with you about a community event. And I want you to know they're bringing awareness to human trafficking. You don't want to miss it because this upcoming event that is coming to Phoenix City is going to be a bilingual event. So stick around, we're going to give you a glimpse of what's to take place. And also we have a special guest who will be the keynote speaker at this event. She's going to be chiming in with us today as well. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose. You're watching here on your cable network. It is Beam TV. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose Show. And on today's show, as I promised, we are bringing awareness to human trafficking right here in our local community. And my special guests are going to share with you a great community event that you are welcome to come to. I want to say thank you, ladies, for being on today's show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So first of all, tell us your first and last name.
Okay. My name is Lisette Mesa, and
my name is Sonia Torres.
Wonderful, Sonia and Lisette.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So you ladies are really advocates for human trafficking in our community. And I want to first say thank you for your community service because both of you operate in ministry as well. And Lisette, you are a pastor, correct?
Correct. I am one of the pastors at, it's a Spanish name, Ministerio Internacional Casa de Dios, but in English it's House of God International Ministry. It's located in Auburn, Alabama. Our senior pastor is Victor Nahum Hernandez, and I am one of the pastors. I used to pastor here in Columbus, Georgia. I still have my ministry, but I'm one of the associate pastors there now.
Such a blessing. And how about you, Sonia?
Okay, I belong to the Potter's House Church, which is Casa del Alfarero, right here in Phoenix City also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my pastor is Israel Santos. I am an ordained minister in charge of a ladies group. I've given conferences in in suicide prevention, and inner healing, things like that.
Amazing, amazing. This is wonderful what you ladies are doing. From my understanding, this is the first event you all are hosting here in this community?
That is correct. It's always been close to my heart, even before I was pastoring or in ministry, to see the different things that happen to mostly women. It's not just women, men as well, but mostly women. And one of the heroes, I believe, of the faith that I look up to is Corrie ten Boom. And I remember when Corrie ten Boom helped to rescue all, the Jewish people in her own home and everything. She and her sister went to, they were put in a camp, and they were put in there with women. They were political prisoners, but the other women were just, prisoners because most of them were prostitutes. But they were young women. And one of them, they came in, I remember she was pregnant and everything. And the way that they were able to minister to help them with their inner healing, that really touched my heart. And when she got out of there, it was a miracle. She wasn't killed. Her sister died in their bed of illness. But when she got out, she spent the rest of her entire life helping with young women that were involved in different areas that were,
Wow.
They had been affected, they had been abused, etc.
Oh.
So, and that always touched my heart, and I was like, I'd love to do something like that. I want to do something like that. And then I've gone to many conferences, women's conferences, even Forward conference with Jensen Franklin, where they talk about sexual trafficking, human trafficking, all of these things. And you're like, well, you want to do something, but what do I do? And when I went to Texas to a women's conference, and I met Rosie, who's going to be our speaker, and there was other women that also are involved, and they work with the trafficking in different areas. And I said, I got to do something. Usually the Lord speaks to me in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming, and I wake up, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And that's when the Lord put in my heart, we need to bring awareness to the community. It's not just a religious, it doesn't just affect one community, one area of the community. It affects everyone in the community. And as Sonia always says, it could be, you always say it could be your family. Go ahead and say what you always say to people. It could be your family.
It could be your family. It's something that it seems to a lot of people that is something that is so distant from them, but it is not.
That's right.
This is about human beings.
Yes.
Okay, and we have to be very passionate about this, about the prevention, about looking out for signs to prevent this crime.
Absolutely. So tell us the name of the event and when it's the date and the location.
All right, well, the event is called, in Spanish, Al Rescate. And basically what it means is to the rescue. And it'll be, we're taking, we're going to do it here in Phoenix City, but it's going to embark Georgia and Alabama. We're having people come all the way from Montgomery, Wetumpka, different areas in Alabama as well. So, and we have people that are so interested, they're even taking trips from North Carolina to come to the event.
And I heard your special guest will be traveling from
Virginia. She's from Arlington, Virginia. Well, that's where she's living. And I believe as I was coming in, I saw a little message, I believe, but I don't know which of the mayors, because we invited both of them.
Okay, good.
Well, actually, 3 mayors have invited, but one of them, I said, the mayor will be able to, and that tells me he's going to be able to come. So we're excited. I don't know which ones. I can't tell you yet.
Awesome.
But anyway, it'll be at the dwelling at Auburn Heights Church in Phoenix City. The address is 4207 Auburn Road. And it'll be on February 17th at 11 a.m. Now, it is absolutely free. There'll be a keynote speaker and then a luncheon. But you do need to register because there is, of course, limited seating.
Oh, so it's free admission, but registering is required for seating purposes. So we can do that.
And to have enough food available, of course.
Exactly. And lunch too. And you're going to have a keynote speaker. And this is to bring awareness to human trafficking in our community. So for those that are watching, some people really don't understand what is human trafficking. What does that entail? Or what's the difference with human trafficking and sex trafficking?
Well, actually, sexual trafficking is a part of human trafficking.
Okay.
Human trafficking is a very large area. I've heard different stories and of different things that they include. Even soldiering is considered human trafficking, where they take young children and they start indoctrinating them in specific types of militia, guerrilla and all that. That's part of human trafficking. When they take young children and they will sell their organs. We have young children in labor here in the United States, in farms, and they have to work hours, and it's not appropriate. It's not where they should be. So it's not just the sexual area. I've heard stories. I was telling you some of the stories, but we'll let Rosie later on tell more. But Sonia knows more of the statistics.
Oh yes,
I know the story. She knows the statistics.
Okay.
All I can tell you is, on average, there are like 6,000 victims daily in Alabama of human trafficking.
Wow.
But that includes forced labor, like the said, and sexual trafficking too. And one of the main cities is Birmingham. Okay?
Wow.
But human trafficking is not limited to the 120 corridor. It extends to cities and rural areas also. But what's even worse is in Georgia. There's an average of 200 to 375 girls monthly that are sold and exploited in human trafficking. 65% of men pay to have sex with young women. Okay? And all this business is happening in the suburban and metro Atlanta area. 9% is occurring around the airport, where there are lots and lots of travelers. there is a big problem also with the immigrants because they receive threats like, if you speak up, I will do something bad to your family, or I'm going to take your identity documents, or you are going to be deported. This is the kind of things that they use to keep them like slaves. Very sad, very sad.
Wow. And I was very surprised to find out that in our local community that it's so prevalent.
It is.
Right here in our Phoenix City, Columbus, right here.
And actually at the event, there's going to be other community services and people and organizations that will be there. We're going to have booths where they're going to have pamphlets where people can find out, hey, if we find somebody, where can we take them to get help?
Yes.
Or who can help us?
Right.
And we're going to have the police come. Well, we've invited them. And like I said, the mayor. And it is, she was talking about Georgia. But one of the main things that I've learned throughout this, because you have to study to be able to do these events. And like I said earlier, I've worked a lot with inner healing with women, and you hear a lot of stories. But one of the biggest problems is because Atlanta has the big airport, as she was saying, that's where you find out a lot of things that are going on. But the problem is that they come over to Alabama. They come over the river continuously, back and forth. Back and forth. So there's a problem as well, because then you also have young women that go from Alabama over to Georgia, and then parents can't find them.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. So when we talk to Rosie, she's going to come in with us online, and so you'll get a chance to meet her as well, the guest speaker that will be coming to this great event on February 17th. We're going to let her share signs to look for globally, because this is a global problem. But for you ladies, right here in our local community, what are signs we need to be looking for? Or parents or grandparents that have children, so that we can have a preventive eye and notion here in our community. What are some things that we need to be looking for?
Well, I was a special ed teacher for 25 years. And so a lot of my my eyes is what I learned in education and what I saw with a lot of my students and the different situations. I had a very sad occasion. It was on the news. There was a grandfather who had actually, from Alabama, the two daughters ended up in, it's actually the father, not the grandfather. The two daughters ended up in Georgia because they took them from the house where they were at, but they were being abused in the home and all that. And it was just so sad, because when one of them turned, she was still in school, it was her last year, but when she turned of age, she was no longer in the foster care program. So she decided to go back home. They tried to give her opportunities to go and do group homes and what have you. She decided to go home, and a few months later, we found out he came and he stabbed her to death in the house. So you have all these stories. So you just need to watch out, I believe. I mean, she has, I'm sure, a lot more she could share. But bruises, people that are quiet, very introverted. They don't have a lot of friends because they don't want to bring up, questions, because they're constantly feel threatened. There's a lot of gaslighting, like things are their fault and what have you.
Oh, wow.
So
thank you for sharing that, because even educators, they need to be able to notice signs and things.
Yes, I definitely would love for teachers to come and listen. I mean, I'm still learning more about this, and even when the event takes place, Rosie's going to talk about the experiences and what it is, but it doesn't just go to the point of rescuing them. Once you rescue them, there's a whole medical issues. I mean, I went to the gynecologist and I said, would you like to go? Yes, we'd like to come, because we've had experiences that we've had young ladies that have come into our office, and we've realized that they were sick, they had different things, and it was due to they were being trafficked, human trafficked. And so the gynecologist says, we need to learn. Yes, we want to come.
Good.
So I'm still learning.
You ladies are doing a great job.
I would say also that when there are a lot of problems at home or domestic violence, you have a lot of adolescents running away. I would say vulnerability. They are vulnerable to all this. And also when there are females that have a lower level of skills, these other people try to take advantage of them, you know.
Yeah.
So with this socioeconomic crisis, you know, they're looking for money, and these people work with their brains, you know, with their emotions, and that's when they fall for that.
We are so grateful for this preventive awareness program that you all are bringing here to Phoenix City. We're going to get ready to take a break, and then we're going to bring in your guest speaker, Rosie. She'll be chiming in with us from Virginia. So tell us about the commercial. We're going to go into a commercial because this event is also going to be bilingual, right?
That's absolutely true. So I'll let Sonia go ahead and invite our Spanish-speaking guests, and then I will interpret because I'll be the interpreter at the event, so you guys can get an idea of how this bilingual. Because, I said, it's all areas of the community. It's every religion, everyone is affected by this. There's not just one person.
That's right.
You're right.
So good.
Sí, el evento que se llama El Rescate va a ser en Phoenix City, Alabama.
This event, which is called To the Rescue, is going to be in Phoenix City, Alabama.
En la iglesia Auburn Heights.
At the church Auburn Heights.
En la 4207.
At 4207.
Auburn Road.
Auburn Road.
Sí. Yo les invito a que vengan porque van a aprender mucho.
I'm inviting you that you come because you're going to learn a lot.
Sobre la prevención.
About prevention.
Sobre las señales de tráfico humano.
The different signs of human trafficking.
Lo que se está haciendo quizás a través de las leyes.
What is being done, perhaps even through different laws that are being written.
No les va a costar nada, es gratis.
It's a no cost to you. It's absolutely free.
Y además van a tener un buen almuerzo.
And besides that, you're going to have a delicious lunch.
Que también es gratis.
Which is also free.
Y es un evento muy bueno para toda la comunidad.
It's a very good event for the whole community.
Porque nos tenemos que unir.
Because you have to be united in this.
Mientras más unidos estemos,
the more united that we are,
más fuertes seremos.
We will be stronger.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And now we're going to go into the commercial. You'll be back after this.
Beloved listener, the economic crisis and global conflicts taking place today are increasing the risks of the invisible crime of human trafficking. Let's help prevent and eradicate it through partnership, prevention, protection, prosecution, and policy. Let's support this cause, extend a helping hand, and be a part of El Rescate, To the Rescue, which will take place on Saturday, February 17th at 11 a.m. at the Dwelling at Auburn Heights Church, located at 4207 Auburn Road in Phoenix City, Alabama. For more information, please call Sonia Torres at 706-536-2139 or Lisette Mesa at 706-615-1570. Thank you.
Amigos oyentes, hoy en día la crisis socioeconómica y los conflictos globales están aumentando los riesgos del crimen invisible conocido como la trata humana. Ayudemos a prevenir y a erradicarla a través de la colaboración, prevención, protección, enjuiciamiento y política. Apoyemos esta causa. Extiende tu mano y sé parte de Al Rescate, un evento que tomará lugar el sábado 17 de febrero a las 11 a.m. en The Dwelling, en la iglesia Auburn Heights, localizada en la 4207 Auburn Road en Phoenix City, Alabama. Para más información, comuníquese con Sonia Torres al 706-536-2139 o con Lisette Mesa
al 706-615-1570. Muchísimas gracias.
Welcome back. It's Street Talk with Loretta Rose, and you just saw the commercial about the great community event that is coming here in Phoenix City, bringing awareness to human trafficking. Wow. And our special guest is on today, Rosie, who will be the keynote speaker at this wonderful event. Welcome, 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 Rosie.
Thank you. It's such an honor for me.
Awesome. And tell us your last name, Rosie.
Orozco.
Oh.
Rosie Orozco.
Okay, all right. And I love the background. I heard that's your ministry.
Yes, we believe that people that has had such a nightmare as human trafficking, they need to have a new life with colors, because they were really in the darkness, and to save one life is to save the entire world. Really, we believe that, because when we see the difference of somebody who has been rescued, or in Mexico, it's so sad that it's only 1% that is rescued. But that person can have a new story, can have a blank page, and have a new kind of life full of colors.
Amazing, amazing. So how long have you been an activist for human trafficking?
Well, I had a very good life with my family, and suddenly I was invited to an impressive event in Washington, D.C. It was hosted by Concert Women for America. That was 2005. And the event was called the Bridge Project. And we were several NGOs from Mexico who were trained for 5 days in awareness, prevention, law enforcement, persecution, and restoration. And when they asked us at the end who wanted to help the survivors, who wanted to open a shelter, we were the only ones from 22 NGOs who decided, well, the other ones decided other things, and it was very good also. But I cried the 5 days after watching a documentary about what a victim suffers. That's why I like this name Kaleido, because it's like taking the little pieces. You know, the Kaleido is where when the one you have little pieces of la kaleidoscopio, and those little pieces that are broken, that you put together, could really be beautiful. It's a piece of art. And these people who are so broken, I cried for 5 days. I couldn't stop crying after one of the documentaries I saw, because I was comparing my life, that I had everything. When I was 16, I was in an American school. Then at 21, I was in Europe studying French. And I had a beautiful parents, and my husband is a wonderful man, 40 years married. And I just felt that I didn't deserve what I had, the same as these girls, these boys didn't deserve what they suffer. Wow. We all have to do something. We have to take these pieces of life to become a piece of art when they are restored.
Yes, yes. And where did you grow up at? Or what is your ethnicity?
Well, I was in Mexico all my life until now that I am more in danger in certain way. I am not a victim. I decided in 2005 to go against organized crime, and I knew since that day that I was going to face challenges. To help these children is to put your life in the middle of the organized crime and the victim. So I knew. So I am not a victim. Of course, to live in DC or to live near Washington is such a privilege. It's a It's not a punishment. But I love Mexico. I wanted to be in Mexico. I didn't plan to leave. But right now, it's the best for me and for my family. And we are helping survivors even here in the United States through Kaleido. Kaleido Inc. is .org is our organization. And I know this was the plan of God. And I am happy with his will anywhere.
Wow, I love it. I love it. You know, this is what we've been called to do.
Yeah.
This is what we've been called to do, and this program and this what you all are doing. You are being a voice for the voiceless. Now, Rosie, what are you most excited about coming to Phoenix City in the Columbus, Georgia area? Because you are the keynote speaker of this great event that's going to take place on February 17th.
Well, first of all, to hug Lisette, she's a brave woman doing something instead of being, like many people that they don't care. There is too many people that don't care. If we all could help at least one person to save one life, is to save the entire world. And people like Lisette, people like you, Loretta, like you, Sonia, that you care about this are few. That's why human trafficking is growing. So we have to do a contagious movement. I am calling this movement influence. I'm going to be speaking a little bit about it. Because we have to influence others about caring about human beings. People like you are an example in your city. And we all together, we can start a movement like in the first years of the church, where the people was inspired to do something for the human beings.
Amazing. That is amazing. This is so exciting and is such a blessing to the community. And we want to just thank you for your servitude, your service, your passion and compassion for others to travel from your location to come here to pour back and bring awareness to others here in the community. See, we all can be great. Dr. King said that. We all can be great because we all can serve. And so if we could all get that, and just like you ladies said before we brought Rosie on, we'll be much stronger. We'll be much stronger. I love it. So for those that are watching, Rosie, how can they follow you on social media? And it may be someone watching may want to have you in their city, state, town to come and be a keynote speaker as well. But we need for them to come here to Phoenix City.
Yeah, and I love, sometimes I travel with some of the survivors that now are activists. We have a very, I call it, instead of virtuous circle, because there are some survivors that has been with us since 14, 15 years ago. And they are now activists, and they have finished their university and some of them master degrees. And we love to travel with them. Kaleido ORG is in Instagram, how you can follow us, like this name in my back, but then at the end, ORG, another ORG, or Rosie Orozco. Rosie Orozco is ROSI, and then in the Instagram is a line under, how do you say that? Underline? And then Orozco.
Yes.
Okay, Rosie, the line, and Orozco, OROZ, as zoo, C as cat, O. Rosie Orozco. In Instagram, the same, Rosie Orozco, Facebook, everywhere. And we can also go to the webpage, kaleidoinc.org. And there you can see, the shelters in Mexico and the victims we help here in the United States. And you can be part of this because we have to care for others, save one life and save the entire world.
I love it. I love it. And you're such a beautiful lady. She's so classy.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Well, she was a congresswoman in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because after this event in Washington, I opened the first shelter for girls human trafficking in 2007, and we couldn't take the traffickers to jail. It was a nightmare. All the girls were so re-victimized. So when they invited me to be a Congress lady, I said yes. I was not going to win; it was impossible. But my passion in the election, people how to save their own children. God did the miracle. Of course, it was God. It was a miracle. And I became a congresswoman from 2009 to 2012. And since day one, the first day in Congress, I gave all my friends, 500 Congress people, a letter and a video of the movie of Mira Sorvino, the one that is called Human Trafficking. And that video and that letter was saying, you as congressman, we need a law against trafficking. So at the end, we voted unanimous.
Wow.
All the congressmen, women, all the senators, 128 senators and 500 Congress people voted unanimous. That was the most incredible miracle in the world. So we have a law, and it's very hard, and that's why also I am here, because there is people that are mad.
They're after her.
Oh,
Because
wow.
they caught, what was it, 17 human traffickers because of those laws?
Well, no. We have thousands in jail. I interviewed 17 in jail. I went to jails to convince them to go in another way, of course, to accept Jesus as their savior. And
Yes.
four of them are Christian now. Four of them one is a businessman, and three are activists. You can see videos. One is very near me because it's a man that with a wife. Incredible. They are activists. They go everywhere telling everybody against human trafficking and risking their lives too. I told them in jail, if you are really converted, if you are really a Christian now, if you really are repented, when you go out of this jail, you will risk your life saying to others how bad you were and telling them how to prevent. And they do. They do risk their lives now.
Passing it on. So, as we get ready to close out, and we're so excited that you're coming here, don't miss it. It's going to be February 17th, a Saturday, 11 a.m., and that's Eastern time, right?
That's correct.
In Phoenix City at Auburn Heights Baptist Church. You don't want to miss it. It's a free event. You must register, and you're going to have lunch, and you're going to meet Rosie, which is a gift in itself. So before we get ready to close out the interview, Rosie, because I had an opportunity to chat with you briefly before we went on air, and you mentioned about some survivor stories. And you were going to share one with us that is kind of close to us in Georgia, I believe you said. Would you like to share that?
Yes, one of the traffickers that I interviewed was the most dangerous one. It was called the bear Mendes. Bear as these animals that are big, so I was very afraid of him. The bear Mendes was so famous in Tlaxcala. Tlaxcala is a state where there is a lot of traffickers. And he was so famous that he had even a song. And we met 5 survivors of him, and one was taken to Atlanta and was raped up to 60 times a day, 60 times a day, because she was taken to houses where migrants were there, and one after another was going to rape them. And people like her was suffering, a lot of girls, a lot of children, a lot of little girls who were trafficked. And well, that's one of the big cases that I really feel so blessed that this guy is going to be all his life in jail, because we had 5 survivors from this case. and all of them denounced him. So he's not coming out anymore. But I was so shocked how they were crossing them in the border, how they were suffering so much. And now she is in the United States with a humanitarian visa. She's married. She has two little girls that are twins. Sadly, the daughters of that monster, but the girls are beautiful. They are having a very nice life. She's now Christian. She is very blessed, and thanks to the United States that gave them a humanitarian visa because of what she suffered.
Wow, this is such a blessing to hear. You all are such a light in the midst of darkness. You all are representing the hands and feet of Jesus here on earth. You all are a service of hope. You all are bringing awareness to our community. Things are happening that many of us never even fathomed. I am just in a shock with some of the stories that I've heard. And this is something that seems so far-fetched, but it's right here, right here in our community.
Yes.
Right here.
We did some footwork because we were handing out invitations because we want the community to be involved, to come. And Sonia went, and I was driving and I'd wait for her in the car right outside the door. And she went to an insurance company to hand in the invitation. And the lady's like, yeah, we're interested in this. And it was because a friend of theirs' daughter
Was rescued
from
out of school.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's right there. And then we went to another place. It was a market, a Spanish market in Columbus. One was in Phoenix City and the other one in Columbus. And the lady was like, I had no idea. She was like in a shock.
Yeah,
no idea what was going on.
Never heard of it.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is happening also in the Facebook, in the video games. We have so many cases now. It's growing so bad that playing a video game, a girl can be grooming, can be groomed and can be captured by these monsters. So the people who is coming to the event will be preventing their own family. They will know how to avoid, how to protect their own children. It can happen to anyone. So it's a very important effort, and I don't have enough words to say thank you to Lisette for all the effort she is doing, all the hard work.
Well done.
Thank you for not being indifferent. Thank you for caring for others. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing with the community. And before we get ready to close out, hold tight, Rosie. How can people register?
They could call us by phone. There is a link, but that's kind of hard because I can't give you the link over the TV unless we could record it later, the link. But you could call us. You could call myself, Lisette Mesa, 706-615-1570, and I'll write you in. Or you can
Sonia Torres at 706-536-2139.
Okay. Do we have a social media site where a page? We haven't created that yet. This is the first one, so we'll have that in the future.
Yeah.
And so the event is Saturday, February 17th.
Right.
Auburn Heights Baptist Church in Phoenix City. You don't want to miss it. It's a free event, and you'll get the chance to meet the keynote speaker, Rosie. She is such a blessing. And again, it's bringing awareness to our community, and it's a preventive program as well.
It is, because she's going to be teaching. And then after this event, people can speak with her who want to get more training on this, people who are actually working on this in this area. She gives them training on how to do the inner healing, how to do all the different areas that she was talking about, spiritual and in the medical, natural, psychological, emotional areas, which are all the areas that are touched. Yeah, I did want to mention, it is in Auburn Heights Church, but it's not in the church building. So when you come, it's right behind. It's a huge building they have in the back that they have as a venue.
Okay, and what's the name of that?
The Dwelling.
The Dwelling. So meet them at the Dwelling, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, February 17th. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a blessing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's been a blessing, a pleasure. Before we get ready to close out, I would love to close out in prayer because you all are speaking to a very diverse community. We're right here on a military base close by as well as Fort Moore, formerly Fort Benning. We have Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix City, Alabama. Auburn is not far away as well.
That's right.
So we are like, we call this a Tri-City community area. And we're very kind of close knit. But we're very diverse. We have a Hispanic community, Filipino, Latino, Asian, all of that. I want you all to pray in English and then in Spanish as well, so that we can reach the masses, because that's what you all are doing.
That's correct. And I did want to add, you said Fort Benning, what is it, WINSEC, the School of the Americas? We have people, so it's going to reach out other countries, not just here.
Absolutely.
So, but I'd love for Rosie to do the prayer, and I would interpret the same way that we would do it at the event. So I don't know if that is going to work or not, because usually I do the simultaneous prayer. But we'll try to do it simultaneously. Okay?
Okay, so I pray in Spanish?
You pray in Spanish and I'll do the English.
Okay. Señor, gracias por la oportunidad de estar en Georgia, en Alabama, y bendecir a todas las personas a través de este programa. Gracias por el evento que Lisette está con tanto esfuerzo organizando. Bendice su esfuerzo.
With so much effort organizing, bless her effort.
Y te damos gracias por cada persona que va a asistir.
We give you thanks for every person that is going to be assisting.
Te pedimos que tu Espíritu Santo toque sus corazones, proteja sus familias,
touch their hearts, protect their families,
y que puedan comprender que la trata de personas, la esclavitud moderna, sí se puede acabar.
And that they could understand that human trafficking, the modern slavery, can be eradicated.
Si todos dejamos la indiferencia.
If we all stop being indifferent.
Como decía Martin Luther King.
As Martin Luther King said.
No me asusta la maldad de la gente perversa.
I'm not afraid of the evil of perverse people.
Sino la indiferencia de la gente buena.
But the indifference of those that are good people.
Señor, que la gente buena venga al evento.
Lord, let good people come to the event.
Y que dejen la indiferencia.
And that they may abandon being indifferent.
En el nombre de Jesús.
In the name of Jesus.
Amén.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And we are the change the world needs to see. We want to thank you all so much for joining us for this Street Talk edition, bringing awareness to the community, bringing awareness to human trafficking. We want to thank our special guests and their ministry and them pouring back into the community. Make sure you support this great event, Saturday, February 17th in Phoenix City. You've been watching Street Talk with Loretta Rose here on Beam TV. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.